Hi everyone. In this clip, I discuss individual tax return for year of assessment 2020-21 and hope this will be helpful for you to submit your individual tax return by yourself. Before moving to tax return, let me first discuss the several application of the tax statute for the year of assessment 2020-21. Now, according to the charging section, every person shall pay income tax based on their taxable income or if they receive any final withholding payment. Now, with regard to the final withholding payment, in Principal Act, you know that interest in the hands of the individual, dividend pays by resident company to resident person, and receipts from winning lotteries and betting and gambling considered as final withholding payments. However, in 2020-21, only winning lotteries and betting and gambling considered as final withholding payment. All other receipts are part and parcel of your taxable income. Therefore, even in the hands of the individual, interest and dividend now liable for pay tax as a part of the taxable income, and progressive tax rate should applicable on that receipts. Then what is taxable income? Taxable income, the excess taxable income consists with all assessable income from employment, business, investment and other source of income. Now when you calculate the assessable income, so you have to calculate the assessable income based on the provisions of the Act. Now first, in this pink color box you can see from the source, each source separately you have to calculate as your assessable income. When calculating, now for example, employment receipt, when calculating the employment receipt, what you have to do first, you have to take all the receipts first, then applying reduction rules and then deriving assessable income from employment. Likewise, assessable income from business, assessable income from investment, you can calculate accordingly. But the calculation deduction rules, so you will find section 10 to 19, but if you have only employment income and several investment receipts such as interest and dividend, you need not to worry about the calculation that much about the deduction rules, because for example, if you take employment income, you can request from your employer to provide you a T10 APIT T10 certificate, Advanced Personal Income Tax T10 certificate. Under T10 certificate, employer will give you a detailed breakup of your liable receipts from employment. So that receipts including the APIT T10 certificate will be the assessable income from your employment. Interest also the same. When you received interest from the bank, the gross receipt will be considered as assessable income from investment. That means assessable income from interest. Dividend also the similar. If you deal with business or if you deal some investments activity like rent and all, then so you should get familiar with the deduction rule. Otherwise, it is not necessary. Now, after assessable income, so you have to take all the cumulative income sources like employment, investment and all. The cumulative assessable income we call, you can see this box, yellow color box, there it's cumulative assessable income. From cumulative assessable income, you can deduct qualifying payments and relief. So this is area very important to understand. Therefore, I will explain you what are the qualifying payments and relief in this the next slide. And after deducting qualifying payments and relief, so you derive straight away your taxable income on which you have to apply a tax rate and pay tax accordingly.
Qualifying payments. Qualifying payments mainly we can categorize into two segments. One is donation made to government and donation made to approved charity providing care for sick and needy people. Now, donation made to government, we can claim 100% without any restriction. But donation made to approved charitable institution, the maximum claimable amount will be 75,000. Now, if you don't donate during the year of assessment, then this qualifying payment cannot be claimed from your assessable income. Then relief, there are number of reliefs available in fifth schedule. The first relief is personal relief, 3 million. This relief is available for all individuals, resident individuals, and other than resident, if any citizens, Sri Lankan citizens, this 3 million, they also can enjoy this 3 million tax threshold. Then the next relief, rent relief, if any individual received rent as investment receipt, then 25% of your rent income you can deduct as repair and maintenance irrespective of the spending. It is available only for the individuals. The next one, expenditure relief. Expenditure relief, maximum claimable amount will be 1.2 million. This consists with health expenditure, educational expenditure, interest paid on housing loan, contribution made to pension scheme, expenditure include to purchase of equity or share securities, treasury bills, bonds, and company shares. But to claim this expenditure relief, you have to have documentary evidence. Without documentary evidence, expenditure relief will not be applicable. At the same time, the maximum expenditure relief cumulative of all these items will be 1.2 million. Now, after you deduct your relief from your assessable income, so you derived your taxable income, on which you have to apply the tax rate according to the slide. First, 3 million will be taxed at the rate of 6%. Next, 3 million of your taxable income will be taxed at the rate of 12%. Any remaining balance will be taxed at the rate of 18%. Tax payment. Under the tax payment, individual can make their tax payment by way of withholding or by way of self-assessment payments. Now, by way of withholding, if you ask your employer to deduct your tax from your employment income and you provide consent to your employer to do it, then we call withholding tax from employment. That can be claimed as your tax credit from your final tax liability. Apart from that, sometimes if you ask the financial institutions or companies to deduct taxes from the receipts like interest or dividend or whatever you receive from that companies, so you can ask them to deduct tax. The rate also, you have to provide the rate to them, and based on that, if they deduct taxes as withholding tax, you can set off that withholding tax from your final tax liability. Or you can make your payment by way of self-assessment, quarterly basis, installment wise, each quarter. This is the due dates is given here. Before the due date, you have to make that payment 1/4 of your total tax liability. If any remaining due is there, at least you have to make that payment prior to 30th September. For 2021, it is 30th September 2021. If you derive any capital gain during the year of assessment, now capital gain tax should be paid within 30 days of the relevant month. That means after deriving the capital gain, you have 30 days. Within 30 days, you have to make the payment. Capital gain tax rate will be 10%. Now, in this slide, you will find all the requirements: submission due date of tax return, submission of your tax return, then the how you have to submit your tax return. Now, for example, individuals will receive your tax return hard copy from the department. You can submit that hard copy by hand, or you can by post. You can send that your return, and also without submitting hard copy, you can submit soft copy using department e-platform. Under the e-services, you can submit your tax return. According to the prevailing situation, I think we encourage people submit your tax return using e-platform, and it is very convenient, and it will reduce your administration cost, it reduce the department administration cost as well. Now, tax return. So this is the main return, main page of the tax return. This is summary of all income and summary of the all relief and summary of your tax calculation. So this is basically a part, section 1 of the statement of your tax return. Page 2 is detail of the taxpayer. Now, if you obtain any assistance from any person outsider, you have to fill that outsider's details should be provided using part A. Part B is compulsory. The taxpayer's details should be provided under the part B. If you don't obtain any support from outsider, you need not to fill this part A. Then there are 10 schedules and 2 declarations, namely schedules, namely Schedule 1 employment income, Schedule 2 business income, Schedule 3 investment income, Schedule 4 you can see in the same slide, other income, Schedule 5 qualifying payments and relief, Schedule 6 final withholding payments, Schedule 7 advance income tax withholding tax schedule, Schedule 8 tax calculation, Schedule 9 tax credit, Schedule 10 tax losses, and 2 declarations, asset and liability declaration, a 2-page document. And after completion of these documents, you have to submit your return on or before 30th November 2021. Remember, even though you find lot of schedules attached to the tax return, but some schedules, if all schedules not applicable to you, but applicable schedules, only applicable schedules, you have to submit with the return. Other schedules you need not to submit, and you need not to worry about the other schedules. Now, for example, if you don't have business, Schedule 2 is not applicable to you. If you don't have qualifying payments, then qualifying payment Schedule 5 and qualifying payments and relief, that means expenditure relief. If you don't have expenditure relief and qualifying payments, you need not to submit Schedule 5. Final withholding payments, then you need not to submit Schedule 6. Withholding tax deducted by a person, withholding agent, you need not to submit Schedule 7. But Schedule 8 and 9 are compulsory. You have to submit Schedule 8 and 9. Those are compulsory schedules. Now, you can see here in the second page of the main return, schedule 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, only you have to submit the applicable to you, the schedules applicable to you. You have to tick on this box and submit that schedules with your tax return.
Okay, now we can use this example to put data in the tax return. Now, according to the example, person Mr. Kumara is employee of ABC company. During the year of assessment 2021, he received employment income, cash benefit 6.3 million, non-cash benefit 2.3 million, altogether employment income 8.6 million, treasury bills, interest 380,000, fixed deposit interest 280,000, dividend received from company from its profit 200,000, dividend from company Y from the dividend received from company Z. So company Y distribute dividend out of the dividend received from company Z, that means pass through dividend, that 40,000, that is exempt income. The payments, treasury bills purchase 300,000, medical bills, his medical bills 120,000, medical bills of spouse 150,000, daughter's tuition fee, local tuition fee 200,000, university fee paid to Malaysia on behalf of his son 600,000, housing loan interest 400,000, medical equipment donate to government hospital 50,000, money donation made to approved charity providing sick and needy people institutionalized care 100,000, partly tax installment paid 396,000. Okay, now first I prepare the computation. According to this computation, you can see his primary employment income 8.6 million, no business in receipts, investment income, interest income 660, fixed deposit interest and treasury bills interest, dividend 200,000, altogether investment income 860,000. The dividend received from company Y distributed using out of the profit distributed by company Z, that is exempt income, therefore it is not subjected to tax again, it is exempt. The total assessable income of the person, of that individual 9,460,000. From that assessable income, you can see qualifying payments, government donation 50,000 deducted. This is 50,000 government donation, and charitable institution donation, it is 100,000. Donation is 100,000, but the maximum claimable amount is 75,000, altogether 125,000. Now that is qualifying payment. Expenditure relief available 1,020,000. 1,020,000 consists with 300,000 of treasury bills purchase. His medical expenditure is available as a deductible expenditure. Medical bills of spouse is not available. Daughter's tuition fee, local tuition fee is available, but foreign tuition fee, education expenditure cannot be claimed. Housing loan interest 400,000. Then this is medical donation to this is qualifying payment. These two are qualifying payments. Now 4 expenditure reliefs are there: 300,000, 120,000, 200,000 and 400,000. Altogether 1,020,000. Personal tax relief 3 million. Relief, cumulative value of relief 4,020,000. So you can deduct this 4,020,000 from your assessable income. So after deduct 125,000 and 4,020,000. Taxable income of that person is 5,315,000. This 5,300,000 taxable income will be taxed according to the progressive rate. First 3 million 6%, balance 2,315,000 12%. So tax liability 457,800. According to the details, self-assessment installment paid 396,000 and the balance payable 61,800. So I assume that balance due also paid prior to 30th September 2021 and it has already been paid. Therefore, everything is done. Now moving to the return. Now when you deal with individual income tax return, it's better you first go for the schedules and fill the schedules first. After schedules, then you can come to the main return. Now, according to the information, Mr. Kumara has employment income from ABC company. So this is employment income from ABC company. The company TIN number should be included, and Mr. Kumara's TIN number should be included there. This is company TIN number. Sometimes there may be instance that individual having more than one employment or having more than one primary employment during the year. You work a number of months in one organization and you shift for the another organization and work there. Then there may be instance that you're having more than one primary employment. So you can use these 3 lines for that purpose. And B is provided for the secondary employment. If you have more than one employment, you can put all the details in this row. And according to this example, the person's Mr. Kumara's income is 8,600,000. So that I have included under 105 kg. There's no termination benefit, and then at the end of the day, so total employment income, cage number 111, 8.6 million. This cage number 111, it is mentioned here. 111 should be included cage number 10 of the main return. Right. Then go to the next schedule number 2, business. According to the information, Mr. Kumara is not doing a business, not carrying out a business. Therefore, business schedule not necessary. Then moving to the next income, that is investment income, interest and dividend. Interest and dividend, you can see here in this row. Interest income 660. That activity code also included there, interest activity code. So this is interest activity code. These activity codes you can find in the IRD official website. Go to the IRD official website and you can find there under the useful information you can find economic activity codes, and there so you have to mention activity code. But interest activity code I have already mentioned here. It is 330 and 121. The dividend also activity code 30111. So dividend income 200,000, and there is a exempt dividend. Exempt dividend we can include under part 3 of the 3rd schedule. So this is exempt dividend. Now total investment income 860,000. That 806, no partnership or no trust income, then 860,000 should include under cage number 315. This cage number 315 we can include in main return cage number 30. Then qualifying payments and expenditure relief. As for the information, we know that the person contribute charitable institution 100,000. So details of charitable institution should be included there, and 100,000, but the maximum claimable amount 75,000. To government 50,000, 50,000 full amount is claimable. Then altogether 125,000. So qualifying payment 125,000 available. This column and this table is given anyone having previous qualifying payment, that means previous act, according to the previous act number 10 of 2006, kind of qualifying payment was there. In case if that excess of that qualifying payment available, still you can utilize this table, but if not, it is not necessary according to this example. So there is no any carry forward qualifying payment, so we keep it as it is. Then entire qualifying payment will be 125,000. Expenditure relief, health expenditure 120,000, education expenditure, daughter's local tuition fee 200,000, interest paid housing loan 400,000, treasury bills purchase 300,000, altogether 1,020,000. So 1,020,000 we include cage number 514. Then 514 should include main return cage number 70. This 125 should be include main return cage number 100. Now, according to this person's information, this person is not supposed to submit other schedules, like schedule 6 is not applicable. No final withholding payments are available according to the information. Therefore, schedule number 6 is not no need. Cage number 7, schedule number 7, that is withholding tax, that is also not necessary because there is no withholding tax deductions available according to the information. Therefore, we don't use that two schedules. So we come to the next schedule, that is schedule number 8, tax calculation. I mentioned this schedule is compulsory, and this schedule you have to fill and submit to with the return. Now the TIN number, your TIN number should be utilized here, and your taxable income according to our calculation, the person's taxable income 5,315,000. So in case number 801, I include 5,815,000, and we know that there is no termination benefit, taxing under termination benefit, no capital gain tax, no 40%. 40% is applicable liquor and tobacco products, manufacturing of liquor. No 40% rate applicable, but only the applicable rate is standard rate for individual progressive rate. So progressive rate we calculate this apply 5,315,000. We know that first 3 million we tax at the rate of 6%, balance 2,315,000 tax at the rate of 12%. So this, after calculating according to these rates, the tax liability 457,800. So I include 457,800 in this column, and after that it is, there is no other, the total values of these cages should be include 110, but only one cage is there. Therefore 457,000 I have included in this row. Then there is no liability on final withholding payment. This cage numbers 810 should include the main return 150. Now moving to the next schedule, credit schedule. According to the information from Mr. Kumara, he has not given consent to his employer. Therefore, employer did not deduct APIT AI and tax according to the APIT scheme, and he paid self-assessment. Therefore, the payment altogether, self-assessment plus final payment, altogether the payment he made, installment payment AIT paid withholding paid by the person is 457,000. So that has included in cage number 911. Then all these cages cumulative value should include in 912. 912 value should goes to 180 of the main return. Now they are in case if this employment tax somehow if the employment tax deducted by employer, then that amount according to the T10 any tax deducted by employer, that amount you can put under this row, but in this case for this person's income all the income tax liability paid by this person by himself self assessment basis, so that is why we include that payments under cage number 911. Now the next page of schedule number 9, it is a breakup of the payment. Now they are, you know, that no economic service charge paid by this person, no partnership, therefore these columns we don't fill this area, only we use 9C. So there we have to include the payment, how the self-assessment been made during the year of assessment. Now first installment he paid 14th August 2020 99,000, then 13th November, 14th February, 15th May. Accordingly he paid according to the due dates, prior to the due dates, and the last payment he made September 29 2021, and total payments he made put in cage number 932, and all values in these cages should be included under 934, but here he has only self-assessment payment. This 900, the values in 934 should go to 911 in the previous page. That means here this is 911. 911 should be 934 value should goes to 911. That's it. That is the credit available in the hands of this person. Now I have done, because there is not necessary to find loss deduction schedule, because there is no loss during this year of assessment in the hands of Mr. Kumara. So I go to main return, and I include the figures in the main return. Now first the person, if the individual is resident, so we have to put in this box as a resident. If non-resident, you have to utilize this box, and all the details should be provided under this row. And now the figures, we know that according to the schedule number 1, total employment income 8.6 million including cage number 10. No business receipts. Investment total figure should be included in cage number 30, that is 860,000. Total taxable income, total of this 10, 20, 30, 40 should be included under cage number 50. Cage number 50 total income 9,460,000. This is assessable income from all sources. Then after that expenditure relief, schedule 5C 1,020,000. Personal relief 3 million, that is available for all individual, resident individual and citizens, individual citizens, 3 million. Personal relief 3 million. Then total expenditure relief for total relief 4,020,000, 3 million plus 1,020,000. Qualifying payments according to the schedule 5, cage number 100, we include 125. Now total deductions from assessable income will be 4,145,000. So that is included here in cage number 110. Now the taxable income, after deducting this expenditure from 50 minus 110, the value will be 5,315,000. So this is taxable income, and the tax liability calculate according to Schedule 8. Schedule 8 tax liability, tax on balance taxable income 457,800. Now there is no termination benefit tax, there is no capital gain tax, therefore the tax amount in the hands of Mr. Kumara will be 457,800. Total tax payable will be 457,800, and we know that that person paid all the liability prior to 30th September. Therefore, I put under case number 180 the total tax paid 487,000. There is no payable balance or there is no excess balance, excess payment. Exempt amount, we include shares, we include a dividend from company Y, which is distributed using out of the dividend received by company Z. So that is exempt. That is exempt amount we have included in Schedule 3. Only Schedule 3 we find exempt amount. That amount we include under case number 210. Now this is our main return, how after the figures, how it looks like. Now in case if you pay less than the payable balance, then there will be a figure here, or if you pay more than the expected tax liability, then excess that you paid, you can claim under this case number 200. In case if you paid more than the liability, then refund you can claim using this case number 200. Now after filling your main return with the schedules, so we tick this box as we have to include Schedule 1 employment schedule, Schedule 2 not necessary, Schedule 3, Schedule 4 also no need, Schedule 5, Schedule 6 and 7 not necessary, Schedule 7 and 9 and 10 not necessary. So what are the schedules that included and intact with your return should be mentioned in this using this box. After that, so you have to fill this part A and part B. If you obtain any assistance from outsider, if yes, then you have to fill all these cases. If no, then no need to fill this part A not necessary. Then but part B, it is compulsory, so your details and mobile numbers, email address and all other contact details, so you have to put in these columns and these rows, and after that you can sign on this using this box and submit your return prior to 30th November 2021. Remember this asset and liability declaration. I'm not going to discuss with asset and liability declaration, because asset and liability declaration, it is your asset. You can read and understand. Now what are the movable properties, what are the immovable properties that you are having during this period, and how the bank loans obtained from financial institutions, share investments, and details of loan obtained from liabilities, loan obtained from a financial institution, fixed deposits, and other details you can submit using this form, asset and liability declaration. And asset and liability declaration, fill this form. It is not difficult. It is your information, and after providing your information, again enter your details in the boxes and sign it and submit with the return. Moving to example number 2. Now example number 2, you can see it is almost a similar receipts are there, same Mr. Kumara, but I modified that example with inserting some different type of receipts, make it a little bit complicated. Now the changes I made to original example number 1. Now According to the example number 1, APIT, that means employer has not been deducted tax based on the employment income, but in this example, employer deducted tax under APIT scheme and T10 certificate issued to this Mr. Kumara, and the amount of tax deducted by the employer was 492,000. So these are the changes I include in the original example. In addition to that, during 2021, Mr. Kumar received 3 million income from agro farming. We can use agriculture, agro farming, 3 million. According to the statute, from 1st April 2019, agro farming, income from agro farming has been exempted. Therefore, this is exempt business receipt. Trading income 6 million. This is liable for tax as business receipt and calculated according to the provisions of the Inland Revenue Act. Rent income, I insert investment receipt, investment asset given for rent, and income from that asset is 1 million. Realization gain from investment asset, that is we call capital gain, 500,000. During the year, Mr. Kumara paid self-assessment, by way of self-assessment, 1 million tax. Quarterly payment made 1 million and 50,000 tax paid based on the capital gain realized during the year, 500,000, 10% tax on this capital gain. Now here I made a mistake. Now here, according to the APIT, according to the tax deducted by employer, the APIT deduction was 492,000. That is not self-assessment payment. That is withholding tax according to T10 certificate given by employer. But installment paid 1 million. Now we'll see how to fill the return of Mr. Kumara having different type of with some other type of receipts. Now here the computation, as usual, you can see the employment income 8.6 million. Now apart from employment income, he is having business income, 6 million income from trading, 3 million income from agriculture. Now according to the Act, agriculture income from 1st April 2019, agro farming has been made exempt. Therefore, that income I considered as exempt income. But the trading receipt, trading income calculated using Inland Revenue Act, it is 6 million. It include to the Mr. Kumara's tax computation. Interest 660, that is treasury bills and fixed deposit interest, plus dividend 200, 40,000 dividend, exempt dividend is there, rent income 1 million, capital gain 500,000. Altogether now investment income 2,360,000, total assessable income of that person 16,960,000. Now the qualifying payments, previous qualifying payment 125,000, it is as usual, it is there, plus expenditure relief 1,020,000, 3 million personal tax relief. In addition to that, rent income, so assume this investment income, rent. Now out of this 1 million, rent relief 25% is available. That rent relief I put as 250,000. Now altogether qualifying reliefs are there, expenditure relief and other relief, altogether 4,270,000. So after deducting 4 million and 125,000 from 16 million, total taxable income of this person, the taxable income of this person is 12,565,000. Now this income, remember, this include 500,000 capital gain. Therefore 500,000 first we have to tax at the rate of 10%. So 500 at the rate of 10%, that is 50,000. Balance tax according to the progressive rate. First 3 million 6%, then next 3 million 12%, and balance 6,065,000 tax at the rate of 18%. Now this 500 after deducting this 500,000, then the remaining balance will be 12,065,000. So this 12,065,000 tax according to the progressive rate, and the tax liability is 1,631,700. Altogether with the 50,000, that is capital gain tax, altogether total tax liability will be 1,681,700. Now APIT, now the tax credit, we know that this person, on behalf of this person, employer deduct APIT 492,000, self-assessment paid 1 million, capital gain tax, assume capital gain tax paid 50,000, and the balance payable 139,700, that also paid prior to September. Now everything done. Now we'll see how to deal with the return. Employment schedule, there is no change, same as previous. Then business schedule, we know that trading income. Now trading income, again I put the activity code. Activity code you can find from the department website, IRD website, and this is trading activity code. So according to the trading, the income 6 million, I include under 6 million in this row, and it include in 204. There is no partnership income, there is no trust income. Altogether the income, total income from business is 6 million. This 6 million should goes to the main return, cage number 20. But remember, during the year of assessment, Mr. Kumar received 3 million income from agriculture. That agriculture income is exempt. Therefore, I include that agriculture income in cage number 216. So this cage number 216 should be included under 210 of the main return. So we'll see how to include that exempt income. Exempt income I have already put in the business cage. Now investment schedule, also some changes included in this investment schedule. Now interest income as usual 660, dividend income I put 200,000. Apart from that, rent income, the activity code is 151, 1 million, include here. Capital gain during the year, realization of investment asset 500,000 include, and capital gain, the code is 211. So I include there capital gain. And now the cumulative figure of all these investment receipts is 2,360,000. So that was included in cage number 304. There is no partnership, no trust. So the total value of investment include there in cage number 315, and it should go to main return, cage number 30. Now in this part 2 of the schedule, relief, you may remember the 250,000 special rent relief. That rent relief, to claim that rent relief, we have to use this cage 316. 250 out of this 1 million rent, 250 is claimable as a rent relief. This 250 I put in this cage number, cage 316. And Previously, can you remember there was a 40,000 exempt dividend. That exempt dividend, as usual, I put in cage number 317. This cage number 317 figure also should go to 210. Now previous business exemption and this investment exemption, everything should include in 2110. That means we have to add those figures and include in 210. Qualifying payment, there is no difference, same as previous example. Expenditure relief also similar, therefore I am not going to discuss that. Schedule number 5C. Schedule 8, this calculation of tax liability. Now according to this example, his total tax liability is 12 million and 565,000. So I include that figure in cage number 801. There's no termination benefit, but 500,000 capital gain include there in cage number 206 and 50,000 include here. Balance taxable income, tax at progressive rate. You may remember how we tax that balance taxable income: 6%, 12% and 18%. And after calculating all the balance income, total tax liability of balance taxable income 1,631,700, and included this 50,000. Total tax payable is 1,681,700. Now that figure I include in cage number 810. This cage number 810 should go to main return, cage number 150. Now the payment tax credit. Now according to this example, 492,000 deducted by employer under the APIT scheme, Advanced Personal Income Tax Scheme. Employer and T10 certificate should be attached. You have to attach T10 certificate here, and that figure should mention in the cage number 2903. Then 50,000 paid as capital gain. That 50,000 should be included in this cage 909. Total self-assessment and self-assessment and final payment 1,139,700. That should include 9011. And altogether the total tax credit, the cumulative value of these cages will be 1,681,700. That amount I put it in the cage number 912, and 912 should go to the main return, cage number 180. And there is no ESC, there is no partnership payments. So this is how he made the payments. Installment 1 million he paid 1/4 each quarter, 250,000 each. Then end of the day, at the prior to 30th September, 139,700 paid, and altogether the tax payment 1,139,700, 1,139,700 in cage number 934. This 934 I include cage number 911. Now you can see 911 figure. This is 911. 911 I include that total tax paid. Now there is no losses during the year, so loss deduction schedule not necessary. Now moving to the main return. Main return, now this is employment, total employment income, schedule 1, the value of the employment income. This is business income, schedule 2, the value is 6 million. Investment income value 2,360,000, and cumulative value 6 million. Taxable income 16,960,000. And rent relief under schedule 3, now we have to fill here 250, that I include here. Then 1,20,000 expenditure relief, personal relief 3 million, altogether relief 4,270,000. This is qualifying payment after deducting all these expenditure. The taxable income of the person 12,565,000, and that 12,565,000 tax according to the basis I explained. 50,000 based on the capital gain, and the balance taxable income tax at the progressive rate 1,631,000. Total tax payable 1,681,700, and tax paid fully. Then page number 80. Then there is no figures 190 and 200. Now here you can see 3,040,000, that is income from exemption. Agriculture income 3 million, agri 3 million under the business income, that 3 million is tax exempt. Then investment income, dividend, exempt dividend 40,000. So altogether total exemptions available for this person 3,040,000, that should be included under 210. Then now this schedule also is supposed to send, so tick here in this box, and other schedules not necessary. This schedules okay, it is as usual as previously we discussed this boxes and all. So this, after filling this page, you can submit your return with the declaration of asset and liability using these 2 pages, and submit prior to before 30th November 2021. Hope this video clip useful for you to fill your return by yourself. Thank you very much for listening this video.